Friday morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Check that moon out, and here at daybreak, it is really beautiful, and that ocean is perfect for our Sunday surf fishing event. I'm telling you, we're going to catch some halibut, corbina, yellowfin, croaker, barred perch, and so much more. We'll see you this Sunday. And hey, you don't have to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning. If you can, I highly recommend you do it because it's going to bite early on that morning. But if you want to show up at 9:30 and participate in the raffle or do a little beach cleanup, make it perfect for your schedule. We got a lot to talk about this morning. We're going to go to Mexico. We're going to go to New Zealand. We're going to check out our local fishing. We'll talk about bluefin tuna and so much more. Hey, let me get set up because you know what's coming next. The morning briefing, 1 moment away. You are invited to my birthday bash here in Sunset Beach, California, right on the corner of Anderson and Pacific Coast Highway. There's plenty of parking normally here. If you can't find it, you go across the street over there to Peter's Landing and park over there. And then all you're going to do is walk out on the beach right here, and we'll be waiting for you right there. You don't have to go any further than that. We've got all kinds of stuff. Our raffle. We've got some food. We're going to drink some hot coffee down there. And of course, we're going to catch lots of surf fish. Kids are welcome. Kids are encouraged to come and experience the great outdoors. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you have any questions at all, please give me a call at 657-227-6459. It's an opportunity, a chance for me to say thank you for your great support, a chance for the Freedman Adventures community, family, to come together on a really
Before
fun
we get
day.
started on today's morning briefing, don't forget, if you're headed to Ensenada, you're going to want to give Zeke Casas a call. Only 15 minutes from downtown, but just check out that spectacular view while in Ensenada, Baja California Norte. And if that garage door is giving you a problem, then you're going to want to call your garage door man. That's Joe Welker. Tax problems? Nobody better than our friend Tim Marquez. Tim's been doing taxes for 35 years. Give the tax man a call today. And for your heating and or air conditioning needs, you're going to want to talk to our dear friend John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside. It is gorgeous, and we have got a lot to cover with you all. I think we're going to catch some yellowtail tomorrow, perhaps at the Coronado Islands, and so much more to talk about. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Man, is that good or what? There's so much going on. I know it's only the second day of spring, but man, yellowtail at the Coronado Islands, that looms large for tomorrow as the San Diego is going to go down there. We still have that bluefin tuna, which is only 75 miles from Point Loma. And then we have that big jag of fish down there at 300 miles. We'll be focused on that more than likely on our 5-day trip on board the Independence. We've got a lot of great stuff going on in terms of yellowtail in Mexico. We've got our big surf fishing event on Sunday. Wow. There is just so much to talk about. If you don't mind, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you do that. Also, subscribe to the Freedman Adventures YouTube channel. Tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. And you can also follow us on Facebook, on TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Let's get down here a little closer to the water. This ocean is absolutely perfect for surf fishing. It is going to be absolutely wonderful. If you're serious about our Sunday event, you want to be here at 6. It's still dark out at 6, but by the time you rig up and get in the water, if you could be in the water around 6:15, 6:30, you're going to get bit. I'm telling you right now. Don't forget Big Fish Bait and Tackle down on the corner there. They're open at 5 a.m. Bring your receipt to us on Sunday morning. You spend any amount of money there, and we'll give you a free raffle ticket. And that goes for Young's Fishing Tackle in Bellflower, California, and Best Fishing Tackle in Hawthorne. All of those guys. Just bring your receipt. Get some bait. I think that will make a difference for you. You could fish that Berkeley camo worm. That works really, really well. Or bring some ghost shrimp or some worms. Worms work really, really great. And if you collected any grunion during the grunion run, you definitely are going to want to bring that. I have more on that in a moment. Let's talk Mexico, and we're going to talk yellowtail because that's what we are seeing a lot of in Mexico Lindo, and that is going to flood into Southern California this year. At least that's the way it's looking right now. We have yellowtail in Cabo San Lucas. We have yellowtail in Mulaje and Loreto. We have yellowtail in La Paz. We have yellowtail down in San Quintin, right down there at 140 miles below the border. If you're driving, you punch into Tijuana, and then you go another 140 miles, you hit San Quintin. There's been yellows there. Pretty good fishing yesterday on the Forkies, and when the yellows don't bite, or if they do, you're backed up with superior rock fishing. And Ensenada, we've seen some really good flurries here recently on not only yellowtail, but starting to see more and more bass, calico and sand bass. The guys from Baja Fishing yesterday in Ensenada had some really good bass fishing, a sure sign that spring is here and it's starting to act more like spring. Now, having said that, we've got really cool water this year. We're looking at a La Nina, cooler water, and sometimes it takes things a little bit longer to get going in that kind of condition, but we are certainly seeing it. We've caught a few barracuda down there in Ensenada also. Not any big numbers, just a little flash here and there, a few big bonita, and that yellowtail that gets up under the birds, and then of course the rockfish, they are still there. Now, one guy who's made some catches of yellowtail at the Coronado Islands is Cortez Sport Fishing out of Popotla. Popotla is located, it's about a 15-minute drive south of Rosarito Beach, 40 miles below the border. And there's been some yellows for Carlos out there at the Coronado Islands. And he's also had a bluefin tuna probably 6 weeks ago now. He had a bluefin tuna 18 miles from Popotla. So we have certainly seen some significant signs of life, and we're going to continue to watch it. The Coronado Islands are in Mexican water, so we'll stay with the theme of Mexico, but it's going to be the San Diego out of C4 Sport Fishing in San Diego that we're going to be watching very closely. They took the San Diego out for a crew trip just to make sure everything's running right and everything else, and they ended up with 3 nice yellowtail. They are touting that now and saying, bring your surface iron, bring your yo-yo iron, and let's get to it. And they are running this weekend the San Diego out of C4 Sport Fishing. Those guys work so hard on that rig, and they are going to try to put some score on the board. I guarantee you that. They're after those yellows. Do not throw the iron for yellowtail with anything less than, I want to say 50, I'll say 40, but don't throw it with anything less than 40 pound. You want to fish heavy strength when you're fishing the iron. It's a reaction bite, and you want to own those things. There's been some nice fish around. When you hook them on the heavy line, you own them. You can pull on them. You can put the wood to them, and that's exactly what you want to do. I've seen a lot of 15 to 18 pound yellows, but I've seen fish up over 20 pounds also. So I am very high on that. We'll see what indeed is going to happen. Long range, let's just talk about that 300-mile tuna. That's still very intriguing. That's the same fish that was there last fall. We fished it in November on the Independence, and it was as good as you could possibly want it, with fish to over 200 pounds. Scott Buchert. I had dinner with Scott and his lovely family last night. We found the albacore. We found them, I'm telling you, Newport Beach albacore. Last night, it was exciting. I can't tell you. I had a lovely night with Scott, celebrating pre-birthday for both of us. Scott's birthday is in May, mine's on Sunday, and so we went out, and his family and spending time with Scott was absolutely fantastic. It was a beautiful evening indeed. So again, we're watching this all for you very, very closely. That bluefin down there at 300 miles is looking outstanding. It's been there for so long, and it's continuing to hang there. We'll probably be looking at that on our long-range trips. 16-day trips have been focused way down 1,000 miles, and they've had a mix of good yellowfin and wahoo fishing down in that neck of the woods. All right, let's get you into SoCal right now and talk about what's going on. There's a little bit of bass, but not much. There's a few sand and calico bass. At times, it gets to the level of being okay, pretty good sometimes. down there in San Diego. The Premier and the Dolphin have been fishing that bass and doing pretty well. Marina del Rey's had a few bass, but still, with this La Nina taking hold here in the colder water, it's taking a while for that bass to start biting. We're going to need that water to get up over 60, and the more it goes up over 60, the better those fish will bite. And that's bass, and that's barracuda, and that's white sea bass. All of that stuff wants to bite in a little bit warmer water. However, you can scratch them out. There's been superior sculpin fishing, the Monte Carlo, no problem at all out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, catching their limits of sculpin. And guys that focus on it can get it done from San Diego all the way up to the Channel Islands. A lot of whitefish around and some pretty good sheephead fishing in several different areas. Catalina can be good for the sheephead. The Channel Islands, probably the best venue for it. And also we see some down there around Dana Point and areas like that. Not a ton of sheephead in the LA Orange County area, but enough to make it interesting. And we are catching some halibut here. The native sun is on her way out as we speak here this morning. Hopefully they'll come up with another big fish like they did on their last trip. They had a 28-pound halibut, 28.5-pound flatfish, 7 total legals on that trip, using a heavier weight and maintaining contact with the bottom. That's where the halibut are. They're on the bottom. So Cliff Hughes, a dear friend of Freedman Adventures, said, I'd have fished 10 ounces, but I kept my bait on the bottom. I kept changing my bait. I kept a really good smoking hot bait on there. And I also was fishing 20-pound tests. He said that made all the difference in the world. He got a 10-pounder that day. Cliff fishes hard. And he says, well, halibut fishing at times is like watching paint dry. It's kind of slow, kind of boring at times. He said there was a little bit of sculpin and whitefish to spice things up. And he said, even though you get kind of lulled into that state of complacency by that kind of fishing, when it's not full speed, you've got to stay to your task, change that bait, take your time and pick a really good hot bait. That's going to make all the difference in the world to you when you're fishing here. So sculpin, whitefish, sheephead, rockfish, April the 1st, we'll be on the Island Spirit. April the 4th, can't wait to do that. Talking to Daniel Hottaway up there about our trip, and he is excited to get the season going. 805-676-3474 to get on board the Island Spirit. The El Patron is getting ready also to get their season started. They're putting brand new engines in that beautiful El Patron, and they'll be sailing here shortly. Still in the midst of putting those engines in, so we'll keep you informed with that. But you can check that beautiful boat out by going to www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Really, really great stuff going on, no doubt about it. Hey, if you'd like to volunteer and help us on March the 23rd for our surf fishing event, we're going to have a meeting at 22nd Street Landing tomorrow, Saturday at 12 noon. You can come to that if you like. We'd love to see you there and invite you into our studio. We'll have a chat about what we're after. We're just after greeters more than anything. Really nice people to welcome people in and maybe help them tie a knot or direct them to where they can get the free fishing line, Freedman Adventures fishing line for that day. Make sure everybody gets a pack of blacktail hooks thanks to Sky over there at Best Fishing Tackle. That kind of thing is what we're after. If you can't make the meeting, just send me a text, 657-227-6459. And I want to thank over there at Young's Fishing Tackle in Bellflower, Kevin, who's donated some great items for the raffle. We have 4 beautiful surf fishing rods and reels that we're raffling off on the 23rd. Just another day, and if it's like this, it is going to be perfect. This has got to be some of the best weather we have seen in the ocean. Nice and calm. You'll be able to make a long cast with a high-low rig or even fish a lure in this. This is beautiful, and the forecast is for no wind, just like this. It should be absolutely beautiful. So we are definitely looking forward to that. I'm telling you, I'm thinking they're going to bite. Someone's going to get a nice halibut. Wayne Shimabakuro. I've got to say his name with anger, Wayne said. Wayne Shimabakuro has been fishing down there by the tower here recently, and he's come up with a good variety of yellowfin croaker and corbina and also some barred perch. So hopefully we're going to see more and more of that as we go along. Hey, a couple other things I want to mention. Our friend Pete Gray and Benny Florentino. Of course, Pete Gray from Let's Talk Hookup. Benny Florentino, who's one of the finest anglers and persons you'd ever want to meet. They are down in Mexico, and they are at Lake Picachos. Lake Picachos, and they're putting the wood to the bass down there. Pete Gray, who's not a real freshwater fisherman, he's kind of like me, pretty much a saltwater guy, is enjoying himself immensely. Said good friends and great times down there, so that sounds good. San Francisco, they're getting ready to go halibut and striper fishing, and they're getting a signal on both those species. They have tremendous halibut and striper fishing in San Francisco. We'll be watching that this weekend for you also. And also in New Zealand, our dear friend Pete Thompson. Pete Thompson is the man behind the Tuna Riot clear poppers that work so great. The best clear popper on the market, Tuna Riot. And Pete, who puts those out, and they're great for bluefin tuna as well as other species. Yellowfin will bite them, all kinds of different species will bite them. He was in New Zealand, just got back in town, and he said, man, we had these 50-plus pound yellowtail biting, and the sharks were chewing them up, man. They were just obliterating our catch. He said, on the one hand, it was kind of a bummer, and I get that, Pete. On the other hand, it was a spectacle of nature that you got to feel fortunate in, that you got to witness. So really great stuff. Pete Thompson, who's also supplying some great raffle prizes for the 23rd. That's going to be a heck of a raffle. $5 a ticket, and you throw a $20 bill in there and you'll get 5 tickets. Right, Anthony? I think I got that right. And we'll have a whole bunch of people down there to help you out. If you're new to surf fishing, as I said, just come on down, we'll help you out. And if you're not even into surf fishing, you just want to see this beautiful sunrise, or you want to come down and go for a walk, or you want to come down and just do the raffle, feel free to show up at 9 o'clock. You don't have to be here at 6 a.m. That's just for crazy people like me to be walking the beach in shorts at 6 a.m. But if you are a serious surf fisherman, I'd definitely be here at 6. That's when you're going to want to be here and take advantage of an early tide that's coming in, and also some superior conditions. I love what we are looking at. It looks really, really good. So, my friends, it is looking like a beautiful weekend ahead. I'm so happy to see that. We'll watch that Coronado Island yellowtail bite. We'll keep our eyes on this bluefin tuna. We'll keep our eyes on New Zealand and Mexico, and we'll keep our eyes on everything in between. As always, it is a pleasure spending a beautiful morning with you all. And if I don't see you Sunday down on the beach, and I hope I do, I hope to see you somewhere else really, really soon. Take care, my friends. Have a great Friday.